It was my first time being threatened with a lawsuit by a billionaire. I was shaken in my boots. It was a really scary experience, but I feel like it's like a rite of passage. If you don't have a source that threatens to sue you, then are you even doing the job correctly? Andrey Andreev, he's been on Forbes' radar basically since early 2018. Our colleagues at Forbes Russia, they were the ones who identified him as a billionaire. The source of his wealth is technology, and he went to the University of Moscow and dropped out when he was 18 and moved to Spain. So he's got this unique Russian, Western European influence to him. I was actually planning a vacation earlier this year, and I decided if I can get Andrey to meet with me in London, then I would plan my vacation around Europe. So we met at this restaurant called Hyde. I was in a private dining area on the second floor, and I looked up and he was just walking towards me, and he had on his signature white t-shirt. He's got hundreds of white t-shirts, they're all Prada, and he had on a black bomber jacket, black jeans, and he just kind of strolled in and walked towards me like he owned the place. And it was at Hyde when he gave me a business exclusive. They were going to commit $100 million to finding the next big social app. I thought, okay, this is the exclusive that I need to sort of anchor this story and make it into a bigger piece. But then he offered to take a walk around London with me, and he offered to show me his favorite restaurants and bakeries and tea shops. And I think in total, our meeting was about 5 hours. So then I started on the second stage of my reporting, which is reaching out to former employees, investors, associates. And that's really when the real story started coming out. I had former employees who told me that Andrey was prone to making racist comments, that when he saw too many blacks and browns faces on the apps, that it cheapened the brand. Another thing that people had told me about the company was you really need to look into the corporate structure of Badoo. The way that it's structured, it's basically created to avoid taxes. I had 4 former employees that confirmed to me that there was a video of an employee receiving oral sex from a sex worker that was circulating around the office. But then I found Jessica Powell's book. She wrote this book called The Big Disruption. She talks about how the book was inspired by her time at Google, but also partly inspired by her time at a startup, where the founder had considered changing the app into an anonymous sex club and even whiteboarded it, and had asked her whether it was a good idea to give away dildos as company swag. And it was a founder who also owned hundreds of white t-shirts. And when I read that line, I thought, holy shit, that's Andrey. She was pretty hesitant to speak to me, but I could kind of tell that she wanted to tell that story. It's just that nobody had asked her, or nobody took her seriously. And so it took some time to build her trust, but eventually I got her to speak to me. And not just speak to me, she spoke to me on the record, which was huge for the story. When people think about Bumble, they think about its CEO, Whitney Wolfe Herd. What most people don't realize is that Andrey is the majority owner of Bumble. So to have all of that, and to have Bumble leaning in so hard to this feminism and anti-misogynism aspect to their brand, it just all seems pretty hypocritical. You have to bend over backwards to give your sources every opportunity to comment. And this was the type of story where I needed Andrey and the company to know everything that was going in the story. And yeah, I started asking him, these employees tell me that the London headquarters is a toxic workplace, especially for women. What's your response to that? And it just kind of spiraled. Andrey emailed pretty much everyone that's above my pay grade at Forbes. Basically, he attacked the integrity of the story and was doing everything he could to stop the story from publishing. I want to say that, none of it scared me, but I was pretty scared, and whenever they tried to poke holes in my reporting method and my story, I immediately went to those areas and I just kind of did a mental calculation. Are they right? This is a type of story that you just need to get bulletproof. You can't get anything wrong. So the story went live. I get this DM from a TechCrunch reporter. Hi Angel, we just got a statement from Andrey and Whitney, and they're claiming that there are factual inaccuracies in your story and that the company is working with you on correcting those inaccuracies. I wanted to give you a chance to respond. And when I read that, I freaked out. I think Andrey and Whitney might have realized that that aggressive approach might not be the best strategy, because you had people on Twitter that, one of my sources literally revealed her identity on Twitter to say, this story is true, this is who I am, I actually went through this. So the next day, Andrey and the company gives another statement to Business Insider, and their tone has completely changed. Andrey is much more apologetic in this statement, and they talk about how the company had hired a law firm to independently investigate the claims in the story. I remember when I was in school, it was one of my professors said, there's only two kinds of journalism that matters. You either comfort the afflicted or you afflict the comfortable. The process of getting a response from the company and everything that happens after, even though it was probably one of the more stressful times that I've gone through in journalism, I learned so much, and the story that ended up coming out, I think, was really beyond anybody's expectations.